Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Syndrome, and coming to you here tonight with my thoughts on this week's Monday Night Raw. Now, this is the last Raw before WrestleMania, and since basically all of the main event matches are Raw matches, it is really the last chance for the WWE to actually, get us excited for it. A difficult prospect to be sure, but if last week's SmackDown was any indication, who knows? They may yet succeed. Anyways, let's get started. So, starting off Raw this week, much in the same way as we usually do with a promo. This time, the man on the microphone is John Cena, who actually manages to cut a very good promo here, in my opinion. He managed to put a lot of intensity and at some points even sounding aggressive during this promo, and it's really something different that we're seeing from Cena here, which makes it just a little bit more interesting than what he usually does, just crack a few stupid smiles and then be done with it. And don't get me wrong, the smiles were still there, don't worry, but other than that, there was a lot of intensity involved there as well, and yeah, overall, very good job by Cena. It's also pretty funny to note how the announcers just keep referring to these mixed reactions Cena's been getting from the crowd. And yeah, okay, sure enough, I can vaguely recall seeing one or two little kids in the front row cheering for Cena, but other than that, pretty basically all I could hear tonight was boo. So yeah, I don't know where these guys are getting their facts, but mixed reactions, wow. Pretty funny though how these boos have gotten really bad lately. I mean, he's always gotten a lot of boos, but these days, I mean, they just drown out the cheers completely. It's amazing, really. Also, to note is that the WWE did a very good job in keeping the Cena promo and the Rock promos separate this week. Because basically, whenever you get these two guys in the ring together, the Rock kind of has a tendency to completely overshadow Cena, which isn't Cena's fault, and it's kind of unfair to be honest, because Cena is capable of cutting really good promos, as he shows tonight. But, you put him in the ring with a guy like The Rock, and, The Rock's gonna come out looking like a superstar, and Cena's gonna look like an idiot. That's just the way it is. But, overall, good segment, good promo, and a good start to Raw. So, next up we have Randy Orton, Sheamus, and the Big Show taking on 3MB. Yet again. Yeah, basically all I got. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? I mean, it's the same match that we've already seen. It had the same outcome, and it's just absolutely pointless. Which was made even worse by a substandard promo afterwards by the Shield, where they basically just all three just had a cookie cutter promo and just threw it at the WWE team. It was a very weak segment and could have just been left out completely, to be honest. Because at this point, this match, it's kind of lost all momentum, and I'm not looking forward to it at all anymore. Despite me actually, because of their previous pay-per-view record, I was really looking forward to the Shield's match at WrestleMania. But well, first of all, this team just isn't very interesting of Randy Orton, The Big Show, and Sheamus. But also just the way this feud was put forward, it's just not very good and not interesting. So yeah, overall, just a lousy segment. So let's quickly move on to better things. And now, when I say on to better things, I mean slightly better. Because what we got next, yeah, not very exciting either. We got Coulter and Swagger cutting a promo, pre-recorded promo, which, well, wasn't all that bad, but, you know, basically nothing new was said. It was interesting to finally actually see Swagger open his mouth, however. I mean, after all, he is the guy that's actually, going to be having the match at WrestleMania, so kind of makes sense to let him talk every now and then. But, guy doesn't have any charisma, so you can basically only do that in these kind of pre-recorded manners. Which is a little bit of a shame, but never mind. And then right after that, we get the response by Del Rio in a backstage interview, which was just horrible. I mean, wow, Del Rio, he just wow. He needs to shut up, seriously. I mean, Del Rio is just so bad these days on the microphone. I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't good before or anything, but jeez, just definitely during this feud, he's been so horrible. Just basically every single promo he does is the same thing. He just blurts out some random stuff. Then he blurts out some random Spanish stuff. Then he blurts out some more random stuff, and then he just goes away, and that's it. Not very interesting, Del Rio, and yeah, this week was definitely, again, same deal, very bad. It's a good thing that, these two were involved in a match later on to redeem themselves for this mess of a promo. But, it was a little bit of a step up at the very least from the Shield versus Team WWE, so there's that. But anyways, now actually moving on to the good stuff. And when I say good things, I do mean good things, because what we got next is Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, I know, again, but, this is one of those occasions where I'll be more than happy to just, watch the same match just a couple times over. Because these two guys, I've said it before, they're just fireworks whenever they get inside the ring. And, tonight was no exception. We saw a very, very good match. And, afterwards, after the match, of course, Big E Langston laid out Kane and Daniel Bryan to further their feud a little bit. Not very effective in my opinion, but, who cares? It's a mid-card match at WrestleMania, so it's not really all that important to build up. These mid-card matches, pretty much all of them, are really going to have it from their quality of actual wrestling, as opposed to actual build-up. So yeah, and overall, you're pretty much set with Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan there. And then you got two more power characters in Kane and Big E Langston, and the distraction outside the ring in AJ Lee. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a pretty damn good WrestleMania match. So overall, good segment, did what it needed to do, and had a great match in it. So nothing to complain about. Let's move on. And we're going from very good to even better with HBK heading to the ring. Yeah, that's right. My favorite current superstar in Daniel Bryan, followed up by my all-time favorite in HBK. Starting to be a good episode of Raw. And HBK doesn't disappoint. Cuts a really good promo alongside Triple H, and actually announces that he's going to be in the corner of Triple H come WrestleMania. And, well, that was just exactly the news I was hoping and waiting for. And yeah, that kind of immediately makes the Brock Lesnar versus Triple H fight a must-see for me, despite me absolutely not caring about the match itself. Just the fact that HBK is gonna be there, yeah, it's good enough for me. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of role he plays at WrestleMania, but hey, to be honest, doesn't really matter. It's gonna be interesting either which way to see HBK back. I really do miss the guy. Why did he have to retire? So, with that piece of nostalgia out of the way, what do we got next? We have Barrett versus Radha. Now, interesting. I mean, this matchup might actually suggest that Wade Barrett might actually win a match. And, strangely enough, he actually does. I'm happy enough to see Barrett get a win, but, you know, it's just a sad thing at this point because it doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, his title match with The Miz has been relegated to the pre-show of WrestleMania, so yeah, does it even really still matter? I don't think so. Yeah, pre-show, that's where the champions belong, right? But hey, at least Barrett has a match at WrestleMania. Antonio Cesaro, on the other hand, haven't heard even the slightest whisper about what he's going to be doing at the Showcase of the Immortals, so yeah. But anyways, all that aside, the actual match we got between Ryder and Barrett was actually pretty good. I initially thought either, we were gonna see the Miz screw with Barrett, causing him to lose, or either see Barrett just squash Ryder and, get it over with quickly. But we actually got a pretty competitive match out of these two, and that was kind of surprising, and, a good surprise. So, overall, not even that bad a segment, surprisingly. So, next up we have Santino in Vickis' office. Now is it just me or has it been quite a while since we've seen Santino actually around? No, never mind. Either which way, Santino Marella tries to play an April's Fool on Vicky, and yeah, we all know how well that can work out, pissing off your vindictive boss. Good idea, Santino. So, not surprisingly, this ends up in a match between Santino versus Mark Henry, which also very unsurprisingly leads to a very quick victory by Mark Henry, which then prompts Ryback to run towards the ring looking for a little bit of revenge for what happened on last week's SmackDown. Now, obviously, because they got the no contact clause going on, they can actually start a brawl. So, Ryback does the next best thing and grabs Santino to use as a battering ram and later on as actual ammunition to throw at Mark Henry. Yeah, again, good idea. So, yeah, overall, this segment, again, not all that wordy. But, yeah, it wasn't the worst either. The actual, Ryback promo at the end of after the match was actually pretty funny to watch. So at least that was that. But yeah, let's hope the rest of the show can be an improvement to this. So yes, as I said earlier, we do actually have Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger involved in the match. Now, It's not actually Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger though, nope. It's Alberto Del Rio versus Zeb Colter, which Alberto Del Rio happily agrees to because, there's no way that could ever be a setup. Right. So, big surprise, it's a setup, and pretty basically the match ends before it even gets started, and we see Alberto Del Rio flat on his back, getting beaten on by Swagger and Colter. Yeah, not much to say about this segment. The match, like I said, didn't even really happen, so nothing to say there at all. And the promo was decent enough, but again, nothing all too special from these two. Which is really starting to worry me now because, again, it's another feud that just gets absolutely no build up. They started off really strong with the entire immigrants angle and stuff like that, but then they just went to two guys brawling with each other and Del Rio cutting very poor promos. So, yeah, next segment. And now, of course, we have the second part of our WrestleMania's main event superstars here. The Rock, also cutting a promo, much like Cena that started off the night. And yeah, as you would expect from The Rock, he does a good job. But nothing really special to be honest. I mean, he showed off his usual very good microphone skills, but that's basically it. I mean, it didn't really get me all that much more excited for the match, and yeah, it didn't really build up to anything. It was just a good, solid promo, and that's really all it was. There's not much more to say about it. Alright, next up we have Chris Jericho going up against Antonio Cesaro, which led to a very, very good match. In fact, it was definitely the match of the evening, which was kind of surprising considering, the Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler match was really, really good, and I figured that was going to be the match of the evening for sure, but yeah. Kind of forgot about Jericho, of course, and Antonio Cesaro definitely played ball during this match and looked very, very impressive. These two guys really looked like they had a bit of a chemistry going on there as well. So it's a sad thing that Jericho is probably going to be gone after WrestleMania for a while again. Otherwise, Antonio Cesaro versus Jericho in a feud. Yeah, could have been somewhat interesting. Now, Lords know Antonio Cesaro could actually do with a valid feud, or just any feud at all for that matter. Because I don't really think he's had a feud in months right now. So, but yeah, overall, very very good match. And of course, at the end of the match, we had the interruption by Fandango and him beating on Jericho for a little bit more, which again Fandango showed a couple of fairly good moves with his definitely his leg drops of the turnbuckle looked very very impressive as they did in the past. So again, pretty excited for that match. Not so much because of all the after-match brawls, but just simply because these are two superstars. One, Jericho, I know is just absolutely great, and one, Fandango, which I suspect is going to be really, really good. It's just going to make for a really, really good match at WrestleMania. So, yeah, I'm excited for that one. And that's pretty much it for this segment. Overall, very good. Good match, decent promo. And then we come to our main event match of the evening, which is the Funkadactyls versus the Bella Twins. Yes, Allow me to repeat that. We have the Funkadactyls versus the Bella Twins as the main event of the Raw before WrestleMania. Yes. Why do we have a tag team divas match as main event while we just had the most awesome match in months? Just, like 2 minutes ago? I don't know. But there you have it. And the match is basically what you can expect from a divas tag team match, which is to say it was bad. And yeah, that's it basically. Yeah, okay, these guys do have a WrestleMania match coming up actually. What are they called now? Brodus Clay and Tenzai. What was it again? Yeah. Who cares? Brodus Clay, Tenzai, and the Funkadactyls versus Team Rhodes Colors and the Bella Twins at WrestleMania. Which on its own is, an interesting enough match, I suppose. I mean, it's an 8-man tag team match, which is not something that you're gonna see very often. Never mind an actual mixed one. So, it could be somewhat interesting, but such a misuse of actually talented guys like Sandow and Rhodes. It just boggles my mind that they have to, be involved in a stupid match like that. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. I somewhat doubt it, but it's all possible. But yeah, that's basically it for the main event match. It sucked, but luckily, at the very least, as a closing segment, we have another promo. Yeah, it's a good thing we don't end the last Raw before WrestleMania with a, Divas tag team match. So let's continue on to the last segment. Alright, so we're ending Raw tonight with The Undertaker in the ring, trying his very best to cut a decent promo. Sadly enough, as much as I like The Undertaker, cutting promos just really isn't his kind of thing. The Undertaker has a certain mystique to him, and to keep that kind of mystique, he just needs to be silent. He needs to be that guy that just makes the light go out and then appears somewhere and just stands there saying nothing until he starts beating up people. That's The Undertaker. But sadly enough, not tonight, as he tries to eviscerate CM Punk. And yeah, I'm not the one making this up. This is actually how the WWE announced this segment of the show, as The Undertaker eviscerates CM Punk. So yeah, apparently the definition of eviscerate now actually means trying to cut a decent promo. Yeah. Whatever. Either which way, thankfully, before it got all too awkward seeing The Undertaker talk, the lights go out and a whole bunch of druids come out. Great, so we all know what this is. This is CM Punk to the rescue. Sadly enough, doesn't immediately get better, because first we have to listen to these dumb druids chanting for about 2-3 minutes. Which gets pretty old very quickly, but never mind. As the lights go back on, we get to see Paul Heyman dressed up as the recently deceased Paul Bearer. Whoa. Okay, don't get me wrong, I like where this is going, but my, WWE, you're just really going to the dark side with this feud, aren't you? But yeah, okay, so The Undertaker, obviously not too happy about this, storms up to the ramp, where he meets, of course, CM Punk in a clever disguise as a druid. And CM Punk then continues on to wail on The Undertaker for a good solid 2 minutes again. And I do mean really just wail on the guy. Wow, okay, fine. But it doesn't end there. No. As the segment comes to a close, CM Punk opens up the urn and just sprays the ashes all over The Undertaker's limp body. And then pretty basically starts splashing some on himself for good measure. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What the hell was that? I mean, seriously. Talk about strange promos. It just starts off with a talking Undertaker who's apparently eviscerating CM Punk. Then we go to these Druids. Then we go to CM Punk beating on The Undertaker. And then, yeah, there's Paul Heyman as Paul Bearer. And then we have ashes all over the place. And wow, what a mess. And surprisingly enough, it actually works. To be honest, this is one of those promos that just makes you go, whoa, what the hell did I just see? But at the same time was actually really, really compelling to watch. And I'm sure not everybody's gonna agree with me on that, but I thought it was kind of interesting, and it definitely is gonna give CM Punk a lot of heat, and it definitely builds up the feud between these two superstars. So, a very interesting and very effective way to end the last Raw before WrestleMania. Nice going, WWE. So, what did I think overall about this Raw? Well, it wasn't bad. In fact, I thought it was actually a fairly decent and successful last Raw before WrestleMania. It wasn't exactly, the same quality that we saw last week from SmackDown, sadly enough. But, that's just pretty much basically, again, the fault of these 3 hours. If Raw had been 2 hours and they would have just kept their good segments and just left all the bad ones out of there, the show itself would have been a hell of a lot better. But, it is what it is. Overall, it was a good show. Had a couple of really interesting segments. Definitely the last one. And yeah, again, a couple of not so great ones. But overall, yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to WrestleMania. Sadly enough, the main event match is still not all that much. Granted, I am really looking forward to Triple H versus Brock Lesnar, but not so much for the match itself, more because of, HBK's involvement. And yeah, The Undertaker versus CM Punk, yeah, okay. It's probably gonna be a good match, so I am pretty interested to see it, and the build-up was fairly good, so yeah, I'm a little bit torn about that one. And then, yeah, lastly, you got the Cena versus The Rock, and yeah, whatever. This match just doesn't really interest me at all anymore, so never mind that one. But like I said, overall, good show. Decent build up towards the matches all around, and yeah, just one more show left, and it's WrestleMania time. Can't wait. Anyways, thank you all for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you all next time.